Welcome to Talking Unleashed, where we talk games, sports, movies, and whatever else pops into our head. I am Jay. You can find me on Twitch at xjrayx, and I'll go ahead and kick it to my man down here.
I am Sean, X the Prophecy X. I'm going to kick it down to the other Sean.
My name's Undead, other Sean. You can also catch me on Twitch.
And I am Brian, otherwise known as Ed Hunter. And you can find me on Facebook, fb.gg/Ed Hunter Gaming.
I like that. / I like it.
So, first episode today, guys. So, what we're going to start off with is kind of go back around the clockwise here and give a little bit of details about who we are, what we're about, and kind of what we got into gaming. We'll start with Justin.
Yeah, so a little bit of background about myself. I served in the United States Navy for 6.5 years. I am the father to a 7-year-old girl. She actually just turned 7 this month, so it's pretty awesome. What got me into gaming, I mean, I think we all as kids got out in the neighborhood a lot, but there's also that, gaming was coming up as we were growing up. So just going around and playing with other friends. Madden was a big thing for me growing up. We used to do the LAN parties with Halo, the first multiplayers. The games I play a lot of sports, so I mostly play Madden. Obviously Call of Duty is where we all met, so I play a lot of Call of Duty too. But every once in a while I'll dabble in like FIFA. I play 2K a lot too. But that's just a little bit about me.
Games has been a big part of me growing up, obviously, being a 90s kid. Big sports guy, so, Madden's a big thing for me. I pride myself on my sports knowledge and being able to talk about sports in any aspect. I'm a father of a 2-year-old named Brielle. I've been playing games for probably got serious right around high school time. Middle school, I was kind of an outside kid, so I didn't really play a lot of video games. But playing Madden now, a lot of Warzone. That's what you'll catch me on Twitch playing. And we'll kick it over to the other Sean.
So, I am not into sports like I used to be, like these guys, but I actually started playing video games. That was literally all I did as a kid, to be honest with you. I mean, I played some sports, but not like hardcore. But it was all about PlayStation, like Nintendo 64 was where it was at. That's where I started. And then I started progressing through the PlayStations as they all started coming out. And Call of Duty was literally my main game. And then Halo, for those Xbox people, but I only played a little bit of that. Yeah, it's this guy. But yeah, I am also a father of a beautiful little 6-month-old named Aurora. And kick it up to Ed. Yeah, Baby Undead. There you go, Baby Undead. You'll see her in some streams if you catch them. But to Ed.
So like I said, my name is Brian, but otherwise known as Ed Hunter. A little bit about my background. I am probably the oldest of this group. I started gaming in the 80s with a very, very old computer. Probably wouldn't even recognize it or be able to lift it. That's how heavy it was. So my gaming history started very, very early when I was a kid, and it translated into consoles when they first started coming out with Sega and Nintendo. And my friends, we would play baseball in the backyard, and then when it got too hot, we'd go inside. We'd play baseball on the Nintendo or the Sega, So so that was a big part of my childhood. And as far as gaming goes, I am also a father of a 7-year-old. He is autistic, and it does bring its own challenges. But he's awesome. I wouldn't give him up for the world. And he's a big part of my life, and family is very important to me, as well as now I'm getting into streaming and working with these guys has been.
It's okay. You could call us goofs, bro. Just saying.
You are goofs,
Especially
the best
Justin.
goofs the best goofs. So, that's my. I do work full time as well. I am a full time. I work in an office. I'm a general manager of a laboratory supply company. So streaming is at night after family time. So so that's why I usually do like 2 to 3 hours a night. But that's pretty much my background. So
Cool.
back over to
Yeah. So now we're gonna kind of give a little bit about our slight background history, who we are, what we stream on. Once again, Ed's on Facebook. All three of us are on Twitch. But we're gonna go into our favorite games of all time. Starting off with Justin here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty easy being an Xbox player. Halo, I think a lot of Xbox players, that's their all-time favorite. But that's really what got me into it. I think we spoke on this like off. But I remember one of my very first paychecks when the first Xbox came out. I used for my first job. I paid for my own Xbox, so my mom never bought me any of the nicer consoles, I should say. So I had to do all that stuff myself. But Halo's always been my favorite. I think that was great, especially back in the day. We were talking about LAN parties. You know, you have to bring your own TV, you had to bring your own Xbox, and you go in your neighbor's basement. And so nobody screen sheets. You'd have to sit in like a square, which is always I thought really funny. But another one of my big favorites is the games that I play that aren't sports or like Call of Duty multiplayer games or story-driven games. So I mentioned The Last of Us. The Last of Us is story-wise, out of like all the zombie games and movies and stuff, I feel like that has a really, really good story that just kind of grabs you right from the beginning and keeps you into it. And I think I kind of heard that they were making a TV series or a movie or something off of it. Um, but I haven't even got to play the second one, sadly, because I'm not going to buy a PlayStation just for that game. But the first one was really good when I had a PlayStation and an Xbox. So I guess my favorite all-time Xbox would be Halo, and then my favorite all-time PlayStation would be The Last of Us.
I think you should get a PlayStation. Just saying.
I think you should get a PlayStation as well.
Hell no. I'll fold to PC before I fold to PlayStation.
Valid. I mean,
we won't argue that.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Appreciate it, Justin. So basically, me being a sports fanatic, I've always been really into Madden. I've told these guys a story, but on top of being in sports, I used to play Madden on a PS2 Slim with my dad. That was one of my early video game like highlights. I used to whoop my dad's butt in Madden. He'd get mad at me and wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the day, even as a little kid. So Madden, I've been playing Madden since I can remember. Back when Vic was the quarterback, and it was basically a cheat code.
Yes, he was.
To now, where it's changed a little bit. The grass is a little bit greener. The people in the stands look real. But
they don't have the cardboard cutouts for Kobe.
We're hoping this year we get something a little different. I do remember one year their big thing was the grass. You could see the blades of grass. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah.
But I still love it. Going into Family 2, I used Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was also a game. Not really related to Madden or Call of Duty, which I do now, but that was a game I used to play with my brother. My brother's was and is still a skateboard guy, and that was kind of how I bonded with him, learning how to I couldn't do the trick, so that's how I learned what a 50-50 was and a tray flip and all this other stuff just by playing the game. But I think a lot of people connected that with that game, whether they skateboarded or not. I know they even made a remake of it. So
oh yeah,
the fact that they made a remake of it kind of shows the popularity.
I mean,
of it.
That was a classic.
Yeah,
I remember the commercials in Nickelodeon when I was growing up.
What about Tony Hawk Wasteland?
Yeah, Wasteland.
That was a dope game.
And they came out with another game, Skate. Skate wasn't bad either, but I think Tony Hawk kind of was where it started. Went into Skate. Like I said, I've been going into Madden, Call of Duty. Used to play my dad in Call of Duty as well too. So, games was kind of a way for me to connect with my brother, who's the complete opposite of me, and my dad, who's kind of a mixture of both of us. But he's super competitive, so anytime I could beat him in a game, it was a good game, and he wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the day. So, that's basically the history of my favorite games. Like I said, Warzone right now is obviously my favorite. I still play Madden, FIFA, NHL, but cool. Throw it over to Sean.
All right. So with me, it's kind of similar. Like gaming was a way for me to bond with my brother, since it was pretty much just like me and him growing up. We grew up with our grandparents, so it was kind of, we just got handed a Nintendo 64 because that's what my grandparents handed us. So they gave us a handful of games, and GoldenEye, 007 GoldenEye was literally the first game that we like stuck our eyes to. We're like, ooh, James Bond, let's throw it in there. And then that started like, multiplayer shooters for me and him. And best time of our lives. And then we started like progressing to getting PlayStation and stuff like that, and kind of got competitive with him doing that kind of stuff. And it just took me for a whirlwind. I started trying to do all the cheat codes and all that stuff, story based for Call of Duty. Like the storyline for Call of Duty has always intrigued me, like through all the world wars and stuff like that. It's been a big thing for me. Um, I didn't really play all the, like Infinite War and all that stuff. I like played a little bit of it, but it was just it's not Call of Duty for me, man.
Infinite War was one of the games I skipped.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
like
Call of
all
Duty
the all the
first.
futuristic
I
stuff and
refuse
all
to play
that.
it. Yeah.
It wasn't for me. So
When they start throwing jetpacks into it, I was out.
yeah, like
Yeah.
leaping across the map, like I can't do it. It's super weird.
Yep.
I also
It's
played
not that
Halo.
popular.
I also played Halo around that time, when like Halo 3 came out. That was one of those late night things Jay was talking about, where everybody was like sitting in the corners or whatever in their own little television playing Halo, and then you're like, "Hey, buddy, where you at? Oh, okay, yeah." Trying. That's what we used to. That's what stream sniping was back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I remember some people would bring a sheet and they would put it over the TV and
Right.
like
Yeah.
play under it and be
You would
like,
you would tape the bottom half of the TV.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
play under it.
like you ain't getting me.
But yeah, and then so I took a long break away from playing games, and well, I was playing like Red Dead, and like I finished all those games. Second one was probably my favorite. It was a pretty epic story. I wish they would have done it in that order. So instead of doing Red Dead 2, they should have just did well, they should have did Red Dead 2 and then Red Dead Redemption, and then yeah, so on and so forth. But other than that, I like story based games as well. And yeah, Warzone's my life right now. On top of Biomutant. I gotta finish that game. But on the Ed.
All right. So like I said, my gaming history kind of started early, very early in my childhood back in the '80s, and but it didn't really take off until those first consoles came out, the Sega and then Nintendo, and then some of the NHL games started coming out with EA. EA started coming out with NHL games, and I remember playing NHL '94 a lot with my buddy Justin, who lived down the street from me, and not this Justin, but um, but we would play that a lot. We'd go over to his grandfather's house, which he lived in the same town, and he'd bring his Nintendo. My friend would bring his Nintendo over to his grandfather's house, and we'd plug it into the TV, and we'd get it all set up, and we'd go sledding, and we'd come back and have some hot cocoa, and we'd play NHL '94, and you could make your own character. So it was kind of cool. So we had our own names in the game, which we thought was like the coolest thing in the world, and then we would just friggin' own. We'd play against each other, or we'd play on the same team, and we'd just beat the hell out of you know the computer, and that was a lot of our childhood for me was playing NHL '94, and even some of the other NHL games that came out a couple years after, NHL PA, and obviously NHL games been a constant yearly edition or release. So I played a lot of those, and that just brings a lot of like good memories back to me of those times, and when I didn't have a mortgage and I didn't have car bills and insurance payments, and
The good old days.
whatever, the good old days,
The good old days.
before we had responsibilities, and we could just play video games all the time. Um, so that was like kind of like one of my biggest games that I remember back from my youth, and then I took a big break from gaming for a while. Obviously, life kind of got in the way. I went to college. I had got out of college, and then I had to get a job, and then I moved out of my parents' house, and then I met my my girlfriend at the time, but is now my wife, and then marriage, and kids, and all of life's bumps in the road kind of got in the way of gaming for me for a while. But um, and there's another bump in my road. I'm also diabetic. I'm also type 1 diabetic, And
I
that's
did
what
not
makes
mean to
them
laugh
fun.
at that, so I apologize.
No, you're fine. That's my insulin pump telling me my sugar's getting too high. But anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah, so I kind of got back into once I got my first house. Um, Call of Duty World War II. It was a PC game, and I bought that, and I was playing on my PC, and kind of started getting into some of the online multiplayer stuff. Uh, but I really liked World War II games because I also did World War II reenacting. Um,
I could totally
with
see
my
that.
Yeah.
with without the beard,
Yeah,
obviously
you
it
got the
was
haircut down right now.
yeah. So I really liked a lot of World War II games, and there was a lot out. It's definitely Call of Duty was a big one, but there were also some other unknown ones that I really enjoyed. Day of Defeat was a really good one, where that was purely there was no campaign. It was just online multiplayer and capturing points and that kind of stuff. So it was really kind of fun to get into that multiplayer thing, and that kind of like started the multiplayer part of gaming for me, and really kind of my first kind of introduction to toxic Call of Duty lobbies, because I was like, because Day of Defeat wasn't really that bad, you just kind of jumped in the game and you played, and but then you jump into a Call of Duty match, and it's just like, the toxicity was pretty high.
Dude,
Um,
Modern Warfare
but
I
2
was
had
definitely
it the
part of that.
worst.
Yeah.
I was
I was
definitely
so
a part
I
of
was so
that.
toxic. I still am kind of toxic.
That's like
If
when
you ever watch the stream.
quick scoping and all the trick shots were a thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're garbage! Oh, yeah, your mom this, your mom that."
You
And you're
know,
like,
no,
"Whoa,
no
dude!"
matter how toxic we were vocally, we didn't have hackers like we do now.
Oh my
Which was
Exactly.
the most
god.
no, that's
toxic thing.
true.
So
Let's not
I
gonna
would take
talk
the
about it.
verbal. I would take the verbal abuse over that any day.
I really love
Please give
the
me the
death
verbal if they
comms.
could get rid of
Yeah.
hackers. It's
Death
the
comms
worst
are where
thing.
it's at, though. I love those.
I
Yeah.
wish you could talk to them because there's sometimes where I talk some mad shit and I wish they could hear it.
Like, ha!
Yeah. Proximity chat would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I played a couple games where that was actually a thing. Where if you get close to another player, you can hear each other
Mhm.
talking
Yeah.
to each other, and it could be toxic, but most of the time, like the game that I was playing at the time, where proximity chat was a thing. It was
Oh,
a game
I
called
would
Darwin
troll
Project,
so much if that was a
Yeah.
but
thing.
it was actually
I'm
fun. I mean,
going left.
I
yeah,
see
but
you.
but
They
it
were
was pretty good.
they had it in because there was a big Rust spike, recently with all the
Mhm.
streamers playing Rust and stuff like that. But so we got into Rust and they have proximity chat. But I just remember someone chasing me like I'm gonna die, and we were just having a conversation as I'm running away. Like he's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Good." And he's like, "Are you gonna kill me?" He's like, "Yep." And they're just like kept going until he finally caught me and killed me. And
Isn't
then I
that game
thanked
like
him. And
or what's that? Cold Winter? Like a PC game or an Xbox game?
they have a lot of games right now that are proximity
Yeah,
chat.
it's something like that.
I
I
just
think
see
I'd be
people
like,
teaming up.
what's your favorite scary movie?
Yeah,
I was just
everybody.
thinking, as you're about to kill him, yeah. What's
As
your favorite
Undead's getting
scary movie?
assassinated.
Right.
They're asking his
He's
favorite
in the
movies.
house. He's
Oh
in the
my
house.
Um, one thing I wanted to touch base with everybody on too, is kind of how we started streaming. I know Ed
Mm.
said he took a time off, and came back to it. Justin's first time streaming, mine, Undead. As you can see with our setups and mics and stuff like that, we kind of went, dove in the deep end over here.
Oh
So,
yeah, we're doing this. We are
Not
doing
all of
this,
us.
and we're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
be
gonna
I
do it.
professionals.
Well,
I always go full send when I'm
you
breaking
have
into
to do.
something.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
to.
you almost have to.
I could have
Yeah,
just bought a PS5 and I would have saved money.
Right.
yeah.
Even with the scalping prices, I still would have saved money. But
No
yeah, we can start with
shit.
we'll start with Justin. Justin, what made you kind of get into streaming?
I started. So I mean, I didn't like when I was in the Navy. I didn't get to play a whole lot. I always just played Madden. Never really played like multiplayer or anything like that with anybody. When I got out of the Navy, I think go from having not like barely having any time to having like all the time in the world, no matter if you're going to school or working a full time job, just because like the military takes up like so much of your life. So I was always just like constantly looking for hobbies and things to do. So when I was working at one job when I was going to school full time, Best Buy, I had a lot of people there who gamed and some of them streamed. So I kind of got into it there, but I didn't stick with it. It didn't last that long. It seemed like it was just a lot. I had to dump a lot of money into it at the time. I didn't want to spend. But then more recently, at my more current job, I think I met Sean and they were streaming, and I was like, you know, well, let me get back into this. I spent a little bit of money, and then I just made another big purchase yesterday to upgrade my
So what you're
webcam.
saying is that I got you into streaming. You just want to say that on air?
I mean, no,
Okay.
I already was streaming. I just
Nah,
got
you
back
mentioned my
into it.
name.
I already had the Elgato. But yeah, I just recently spent another over $200 on a new headset and a webcam to start streaming. But I'm now I do it so much. Like I'd like to build a community, but you meet a lot of cool people. Obviously, we all met through streaming and Call of Duty. But I also like it because it like captures your highlights and it's fun when people come in your chat. Like sometimes when my chat gets busy, it's very I don't want to say toxic, but dirty. We'll say dirty. That's the word we'll use. It gets really dirty in my chat sometimes, so it's always a good time. I don't know. It's really fun. It's a good outlet, and then you know you slowly upgrade. For me at least, I slowly upgrade my stuff, so I'll be getting a better webcam and stuff. But I don't really stream like sports games. It's mostly just Call of Duty, and it's just a really good time. Honestly, it's kind of cool. You get in front of the camera, meet people, talk to different people. Sometimes when you kill somebody in a game, they like to pop into your chat. So I always find that interesting. But I mean, I just kind of do it just as a hobby, and it's kind of fun to do.
I've actually gained friends from like, because you know how like you can put your
Yeah.
your stream name as your gamer tag or whatever. I've literally had people like jump into my stream and start watching and like chatting up after like, yeah, I kill them or something like that, and they've just watched. They're like, yeah, you just blasted me away, and you know I just want to check out the stream.
So sometimes we're not toxic. We're actually friendly. I had a teammate today I was playing with, and he was the coolest guy. I mean, he sent me a friend request after and followed me while we were playing. But yeah, I mean, I think even more than anything too, and I think building the community, because there's times where we're small streamers. You have one person, two people in the in the chat, but as long as you get to like communicate with somebody, you just whether it's one person, two people, three, but you build the community, you build the inside jokes. Like I said, if anybody's ever watched the streams knows me and Justin go back and forth all day.
That shit.
Yeah, yeah, and you can hear his death comms. Death comms are A1. I got into streaming personally. I think it was around, obviously with coronavirus and the pandemic, we played a lot of video games. Me and my coworkers that are also coworkers with Justin played every day. So I'd work out at the house, get on the video games, play Call of Duty. I like to think that I'm not the worst. So I was like, hey, like there's some highlights in here, and I enjoy talking to everybody. Let me start streaming, see what's going on with that. Now, even at my workplace, the VP of the company calls me the prophecy. We were in a a little inside joke, or a little inside story here, but we were in a meeting with every single regional manager in our company, and I said something. He's like, "The prophecy's good at everything." And I was like, "Oh God, it's getting there, huh?" So yeah, well known that I stream in the company, but yeah, just building those friendships and stuff like that, the community. Me and Justin, like I said, work together, but I never would have met Ed, Undead, Snow, multiple people in our gaming organization that we just click with, and we originally were all from a different gaming organization, but we ended up
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah,
we
that's
ended up making our own.
confidential.
Yeah, we ended up making our own, but the fact that we were able to take everybody, and it wasn't like forcing anybody. We just left, built our own kind of community, and everybody kind of trickled in. And then other gaming organizations is gone now, but
Ours is growing.
We basically brought everybody into ours. But yeah, for me, it was all about community, just talking to people, playing video games. It's fun to play video games, but it's a lot more fun to play video games while people are on the outside, chatting, saying, "Hey, do this, do that. Here's a challenge." Showing support.
Like here, I'm gonna make you mute your whole squad while we're in like a clutch
That's
situation.
That's very annoying.
Yeah, like today I had to mute him, and Undead's like, "Hey, are you?"
And then he's
muted?"
just
And
like-
in the game, my guy's like this with the gun.
I'm like, this is bad. This is bad.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh my
But yeah,
God.
yeah, a bunch of challenges. Like that was channel points, building the community, and it's kind of a personal, challenge too to see how you can network, how you can get followers, subs, grow the community. I find it as a challenge. I don't really do it for obviously money or having 100,000 viewers. I do it just to kind of give myself a challenge, and I enjoy playing video games. So, yeah, that's kind of how I started and what I did it for.
My story is kind of similar. It was kind of like probably a year before COVID started. But before me and my wife got married, we bought this house, and in that process of moving in and stuff like that, I lost one of my jobs, or the job I was working at the time. So I was just like chilling at home, like bored, like extremely bored. I'm like, dude, like I need to do something. Like I was like playing games, and I was already watching streamers. Like this is like when Facebook started like, getting big for the gaming, like streamers. And I was like watching Stone Mountain and all that stuff, and then I was kind of like, man, I got a lot of time on my hands. I could probably whip up something over here, get some streaming. I want to put my gameplay on there. I'm not the best player at all. Like I'm really not. I just enjoy playing. I'm a very bubbly person when I'm playing. I feel like even when I'm getting destroyed every single round, I'm still like, oh yeah, GG's, yeah man, good job. You're a goat, dude. Like yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
You would try to bring that into Justin's chat too.
yeah,
In
yeah.
my
It was
chat.
getting
You
hostile. I'm
remember?
like, no guys,
No.
no.
Yeah. He's
Peace,
like,
not war.
after a while, he's like, you know what? Fuck it. You guys suck.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I was like, you guys suck.
yeah.
But no, so I got like really hard into it, and I had the laptop set up with PS4 remote play running, so it was kind of horrible stream quality. It was like just trash. But I was still giving it a go, and then eventually I got into the whole other community thing, and I saw all these other small streamers and stuff going and just growing their streams and all that. I was like, man, I really need to step up my game. So I just like went on a shopping spree and got me like a PC that was good enough for like giving it enough juice to get everything up and running and get a smooth stream and stuff like that. An Elgato and ring lights, a mic, pictures on the wall. My brother drew Rick from Rick and Morty. So but yeah, so and it's the same thing. Like I was on Facebook. I started on Facebook, but then I was like, I'm gonna give Twitch a try. Like dip my toes in new waters. And sure enough, like I've already started building. Like I'm on the grind for affiliate now on Twitch, but I've already built a really good community, and I've had a lot of help along the way, and still learning, always learning, trying new things. This podcast is one of them, so it's a pretty fun thing to be a part of. But I'm gonna shoot it up to Ed.
All right. So I'd probably go back maybe 3 years, say 2018, and I was like, I'm gonna buy an Xbox because I haven't had a console in like forever. And so I bought my console, and I was playing and just playing games, and uh, met a couple people online through multiplayer games, and those friends kind of like, hey, I know this other guy that wants to play, and those. So I started gathering this grouping of friends that I was playing with a lot, and it was a really kind of a funny moment where two of them were from my own state, and maybe only like a half an hour away from me from where I lived, and that kind of just started coming out, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are like local and everything like that, and we started getting, developing this friendship, and we were having a lot of good times, a lot of good laughs. We were playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege at the time, and we were giving each other shit because I
Talk
sucked at
about
controller.
toxic.
Oh yeah, oh my god. But we gave each other a lot of shit, but it was all in good fun. And they were like, someone had mentioned streaming, and I didn't even. I was like, what are you talking about? What's streaming? And they were like, oh, check out this guy on YouTube, or check this guy out on Twitch, or check this guy out on Facebook. And I just started watching some of these streams. I'm like, oh my god, like I didn't even know this was a thing. And one of the first streamers that I watched was Stone Mountain 64 on Facebook, and I was like, wow, this guy's really good. I mean, he's not only good at the game, but he also has this awesome personality. He's having a lot of fun with his friends, and I'm like, that's pretty much what I'm doing every night. Like, I can do this too. So Xbox had a Twitch app, and you could stream right from the console to Twitch. No camera, no overlay, nothing fancy, but it was just streaming gameplay. And so I'd be playing, you know, on Xbox, and I'd have my laptop open to my stream to make sure everything was looking good. And I was trying to, yeah, I could do this. And it kind of just built from there. And then I'm like, well, let me get a PC. So like the next year, I bought a PC just to stream, and I would stream from my Xbox to my PC, and I had one monitor, and I'd have multiple screens open, and it just kind of built from there. I'm like, I need another monitor. Then I bought two monitors, and then it built into. Now I have two PCs, one for gaming and then one for streaming, and I'm actually streaming and playing on PC now. But that's really kind of where it started, and it snowballed pretty quickly, because this was kind of fun. This was a fun thing that I can. Well, I'm already playing games. Why not just broadcast it and try and build a community and have a little bit, not like I went into it for the money or for clout or anything like that. It was just to have fun, just to try and build a community that I could interact with, that I could, they could send me a message, and I would say, oh, hey, that was a funny moment, huh? Or something, and I'm not the best gamer, Sean said, but, you know, hell, I barely have a 1 KD in Warzone. So it's like, I'm not the best, but you don't have to be the best to be a good streamer. What you really want is you want to build content, and if you're having fun with your community and fun with your chat, and they're interacting and they're sending you stars, or they're cracking jokes, or saying like, why did you throw that Semtex right in front of your face and blow yourself up, you know
Yeah.
so
Squirrel.
that's kind of like what kind of
It's the same, like that on to mine a little bit. It was like, for me, I did computer animation and TV production and stuff in high school. And I was like, man, like, I feel like this is a good way to get, like, and with computer animation and all that, and like, I did a lot of graphic design type stuff too. So it was like a way for me to bring back that creativity that I once
Sure.
did, and that I enjoyed, because I'm also an artist too. Like, I love drawing and stuff like I literally pulled out my binder the other day that's been stashed up in the closet for like 5 years, and I'm like, holy crap, dude! Like, I used to do this like all the time, and it was like actually really good.
If you guys don't know, 95% of the Unleashed gaming crew's graphics have come from this man over here.
Yeah,
So
That's valid.
he's skilled for
He did it
sure.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, he did it for fun.
I think Ed brought up some good points too. I think like as streamers, I mean, none of us are lighting it up and breaking world records over here, but I think we all genuinely like playing video games and playing video games, like, with our groups of people. Adding people in is always exciting as well. I don't think I've ever turned down an invite if I didn't have space for it. Doesn't matter who it is. But yeah, I mean, I going back to like how I got into streaming too, and you guys mentioned Stone Mountain. It was really just an entertainment aspect of it, kind of like Ed said. I
Mhm.
watched XQC, and I swear this guy was just, I think he was playing like that snake game where you like pick up the orbs and it grows and stuff like that. But I mean, anything.
Wow, you're making
This guy
like,
could be reading a book, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, what am I doing? But it's just his entertainment level. It's just the fact that he's having fun. He's talking to the community, people that he does play with. He's a very toxic guy, and so am I. So I think we
yes.
click a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as Call of Duty people too, I like to watch like Huskers and Z-Laner, but
Mhm.
Z-Laner is kind of like the go-to guy for me. As far as like who I want to be as far as a streamer. He's just like the nicest guy ever. Which
Did you
one
see
can I never
the
be?
Dr. Ziz respect video he posted?
Yes, absolutely.
That
Yeah,
was
that's
awesome.
yeah. He's a genuine guy. He's nice. Even him and Doc. I mean, Doc goes back 1992,
Oh
1993,
yeah.
two-time champ. Even in my fantasy football league, I called myself the two-time based off of Doctor Disrespect. But he's an entertainment too. He sucks at Warzone. I'm not gonna lie. He's not that great. He plays the Z and Z carries him, but it's just the entertainment value that he brings to me while I'm cleaning the house and putting them on the TV. If Undead's not on there or Ed or anything like that, I
Right.
always throw them on the TV first. But
He like
they're
looks
awesome
over and I'm
players.
just like this in his television, just
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, Justin, who do you who got like what kind of streamer do you look to be or got you into it?
I honestly, I used to when I used to, I think when was it? I was working long hours. I can't remember what job it was, or maybe I was in school or a combination of both. But actually, when I first started watching other people, I had this chick on. She would stream like all day. So literally, I would watch her. What her name is. She plays like PUBG and Call of Duty, but she mostly plays PUBG. But she's a chick, and I always just liked her because I found her voice like interesting. It's Dancha D.
It's all about the voice.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I would leave her on like so my dog didn't feel like alone at home for like 12 hours a day. But I always found her entertaining just because she was super chill. She was really good at the game, obviously, but she was just super chill. She had like that it was a different voice. It wasn't a voice you hear every day. Like it was like a really high pitch. And she's from overseas in Europe somewhere, so I always like the accent's always nice. But I always watch like Huskers and Aiden, and I was watching Huskers during the World Series of Call of Duty the other day, and it's like I don't understand it. Like these guys are killing people, and I don't even see them. And I'm like, how do they see this person? I'm just like, it blows my mind sometimes how these guys are that skilled. But then I have to remember these guys have been playing like what 5-10 years. I just started like really playing multiplayer like 2 Call of Duties ago.
They're also not colorblind, Justin.
Yeah, they're also not colorblind, correct? But yeah, I'm really colorblind. So if you hide in a bush and you I'm not gonna see you. So you go into the bush. That's a good defense.
These roast skins in Call of Duty are killing him right now.
Oh yeah, you have no idea.
When I call people out, I'm like, the light yellow or the light gray person or the dark gray person. I'm just guessing at that point. But
no, it literally somebody drops into a bush, or if somebody is like wearing a dark skin and they sit in a corner that's dark, I'm not gonna see them. It sucks. It sucks. It's a big disadvantage.
And then I yell at him.
Yeah, and then I can't say anything about it because like what can I do? I can't change out my eyes. But yeah, I mean I really watch Huskers and Aiden a lot, and I don't watch Dancha G as much as I used to because she plays more PUBG than she does Call of Duty. I'm trying to learn some stuff from these Call of Duty players, but I mean ultimately I just want a community. I know I'm not that good of a player. I'm more of I'm like a what do you call it? One line wonder. I just create these crazy one-liners that everybody likes to quote later on that become a thing. So that's kind of like my little niche, I guess you can say it. It's just sometimes I really get into these games, so it just really depends. But those are the guys I kind of watch.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, our biggest topic this stream, now that we're kind of touch base on us personally, we want to start off this like first episode basically with the 10 most popular games of all time. And touch base on this. We'll kind of go down the list, and everybody can kind of touch base on how they feel about the game if they've played it, and if they haven't played it, maybe we can play it on stream one day. But first and foremost, we'll go down the list from 10. 10 was Metal Gear Solid. I've played it a couple times, but I never really got into it. I don't know if you guys did.
Like there's so many of them, but yeah, they weren't that bad, like especially when those were like the only games you had at the time.
I think that's it. I think it's just that was the game at the time.
Yeah, and then you like play it, and then it's still like, oh yeah. I mean, some of them were like even on easy were like extremely difficult to play for some reason.
Now keep in mind these are the most popular games of all time. We're not saying they're the best games of all time.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah, and I think we're just talking about how they played. That being said, I know everybody here has played this game, but we got Halo at number 9.
Oh yeah.
They are coming out with a new Halo, so I know Justin was really excited about E3 and wanted to talk about it. So I'll let Justin start it off.
I mean, so Halo, like we kind of touched on earlier. I mean, my favorite part of Halo was like the LAN parties. That was my first introduction to like real multiplayer. Of course, there's GoldenEye on 007, but you can only play like 2 people. I always liked Halo. I mean, it's just good memories associated with like me. I'm a story guy, so if you can grab my attention with a good story, I'm gonna play it through. Obviously, the gameplay was really good too. What's frustrating about Halo, this Halo at least, it was supposed to launch with a new generation of consoles, and of course, we're still waiting for it. But I think their big thing at E3 for Halo is the multiplayer. I'll be honest, for me, Halo, I don't really like playing the multiplayer because it kind of brings me back to Call of Duty Infinite, where they can jump really high and, run really fast, and all of a sudden you're across the map, and it's just not as realistic for me, and it kind of takes me out of it. I just feel like people who can master that, or you start shooting somebody and they all of a sudden jump over you, it was never a big thing for me. So that's the big thing they advertised at E3 with Halo was the multiplayer. Like I'm sure I'll play it, but I don't know that I'll get into it.
I did hear that they were like, on top of all the new stuff that they're like kind of still putting in, it's kind of got like an old feel to it, like the original red versus blue type Halo, and they're bringing back some of the old maps too.
Have you guys ever watched those videos, the red versus blue?
Hilarious. They used to have it on Netflix. They used to have it on Netflix, yeah.
Did that shit was hilarious. I did used to watch those. I never watched all of them, but that's whoever created that is a freaking genius, and I can't remember who did, but that shit was so funny. The red versus blue, like that's the only one time I tried multiplayer. Is like watch those videos and then you go have fun with it. I never really took Halo multiplayer too seriously. It's just something we just randomly did.
Halo was one of my brother's favorite games, so I used to always have it there. And I actually played the storyline. I am not a storyline guy. I cannot. It doesn't keep my attention. I like to compete against like live people and prove that I'm trying to be better than them. But the two things that caught my attention with this Halo is one, there's talks of the battle royale. I don't think they're doing it though, but they said
Yeah, I
that
don't think they will.
they're talking about it, which would be very interesting.
That's just like every game that's coming out now.
Yeah.
That is any type of shooter multiplayer has a battle royale.
It would be great, but they got to do it right.
Oh
So
yeah.
I don't know if maybe down the road, but also it's free to play, right? Halo's free to. Is it going to be free? to play?
They're making it like Warzone, I
multiplayer.
think. The multiplayer, yeah.
Yeah, the
That's huge.
multiplayer is free to play. Yeah,
That's huge, and on PC. And then I saw the customization. So like basically everybody can customize their own person, which we've never been able to do in Halo because it was.
Which Halo 3 kind of had that, like where you could like customize your helmet with the
bit,
different, like your logo and stuff. Like you can make your own little cog logo.
Next level. You can you can make prosthetic arms that are robotic, like left, right arm, leg,
Wow.
helmet size. Yeah, like they're making prosthetics and everything. So it looks like you can customize it pretty good, which I mean is good. But at the end of the day, we just want the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like I can look however I want. I'm not even looking at my guy. Somebody else is looking at it when they're shooting me. So
Yeah.
if you're even paying attention.
yeah, it definitely adds a different element to it. So not to turn this into a Halo podcast, but then we got Final Fantasy. Once again, this is one of those that I know I've heard a lot of people play about it. I know people love it. It's kind of it's still got a cult following. People stream it and thousands of people watch it. But I never personally played it. Anybody?
I agree with you. It's the same for me. I've never really played it, but it's definitely like deserves to be where it's at on the top 10. Yeah.
People always. It doesn't surprise me because I hear people talking about it. The only time I ever played it was when I lived in Japan on a base. One of my first exposures to like Grand Theft Auto, and the same guy who's exposed me to Grand Theft Auto exposed me to Final Fantasy. But the only reason I even tried it is they had a game called Blitzball inside of Final Fantasy, and because I was so into sports, I was like, let me try this, and it was just the weirdest thing. I can't even remember much about Blitzball, honestly, but that's the only it's my extent. It's like 5 minutes of Blitzball. To Final Fantasy.
That's like just getting the new Harry Potter game to play the Quidditch.
There you go. I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's stream it.
If Quidditch was real, man, poof.
Oh, it'd be, yeah.
Yeah, no joke.
I would ride the shit out of that broom.
How they not made a Harry Potter Quidditch game is the real question. How's that not like a multiplayer game?
I think it was on PC back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
I just feel like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Next, and then last, I mean, we've talked about this game a ton, and I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. We got Call of Duty over here in, what is this, 6th place? No, 7th place, Call of Duty. Yeah, 7th.
Just any Call of Duty or just Call of Duty?
It's just Call of Duty as a franchise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which, like you said, like, I don't think I've never met anybody that was like, Infinite Warfare is my favorite Call of Duty of all time. I mean, they definitely hit a speed bump on that one. But, the next Call of Duty could be awful. Heck, this Warzone, sometimes I'm like, man, this is broken with hackers and this and the same meta, but I still play it. I still love the game. I complain about it a lot, but the franchise as a whole too. Once again, I'm not big on storylines, but I used to play the storylines all the time, especially like when it was on PS2. I think the PS2 is kind of like when I started getting into it. I had like a 64, and I'd play, the football games, and there was like a robot game I used to play.
My first game on PS2 was Devil May Cry.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Oh, it's super awesome game.
That is a good game. I actually am going to write that down because I want to try to figure out how to play that again.
Right. I actually have I have one of them. Forgot which one it was.
Yeah, I played that. I played that, Driver, Madden.
Dude, Driver. Oh my gosh. And Driver 2.
Go back and look at the graphics of that.
Oh, it's so bad. I just remember Driver driving in Havana. That was like my favorite place to drive.
Yeah.
Always liked Need for Speed driving games. Need for Speed.
GameCube. I used to play Underground, Need for Speed
Dude,
Underground.
Smash Bros, bro.
Oh yeah,
Super Smash Bros.
Nintendo's such a good company, but they just can't make a console. It never sticks.
Well, the Switch is actually kicking butt right now.
It is, but it's never going to compete with, like, I mean, the GameCube was a thing, and then it never evolved to anything else. And I feel like they just throw the console away and they try and reset every time.
Mm-hmm.
I do see the Switch. The Switch is a big one, like Mario Party and stuff like that. I love.
It's big for
Mario
the younger people, like
Yeah,
kids and stuff.
It's a very specific demographic.
Like my buddy's
Yeah.
nephew was literally playing Fortnite, like online. He was playing Fortnite on his Switch outside.
I mean, on Switch. Yeah.
I was just like, dude, he can literally just
Yeah.
play Fortnite wherever he goes. It's pretty
Just like
pretty
when they had
cool.
was the PS Vita? That was awful.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're throwing so many throwbacks, dude.
Buddy that like loves
Yeah.
this video.
PSPs
I mean, we
were
talked
my
about this before, but Dreamcast was a console that I felt like was way ahead of its time as far as graphics was concerned. But then again, it just disappeared, and no games were ever really made for it. It was only a handful.
like Sonic.
Yeah.
And then 5th place here we got Skyrim.
Yeah, so my
Yeah.
wife is like actually obsessed with that game. We literally like I just put on Elder Scrolls Online because she has maxed out all the characters we had, like full leveled them out, finished the stories. Like now
Yeah.
she's just literally running around just doing nothing on those accounts. So it's just like, all right, let's just keep on moving. Let's go to EOS and just go there. So but yeah, that game is pretty awesome. Because you kind of just you make up your own story in a way. Like it's got a set story, but that RPG is just it's never gonna die. I'm really
Isn't there,
curious
like, a
to
famous meme with it, like the very beginning of Skyrim, the famous meme, like the dude like wakes up in a wagon or something. Is that
yes,
from Skyrim?
yes.
Yeah.
They still haven't fixed that glitch.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
Go figure. It's probably because it's such a famous meme.
Yeah, but no, I'm super curious to see how the new one's gonna be because they still haven't really released any news on it. I know people were really hoping to hear about it on the C3, but they didn't really throw any info about it. So still in the works. They've been working on it for
I feel
long
like
time
anytime
now.
we get like an E3, they're always like, "Oh, we're working on this and that." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
you,
never
you
really
should
comes
have your
out.
ducks in a row by the time we get to E3. Like, this isn't for us to just hear that something is coming soon. We want to know the facts.
But Bethesda, I can't even say that word right.
Bethesda?
Yeah, they just came out with like their first game, and how long was it? Like,
Oh, you're
What
talking
is-
about are you talking about Starfield or something?
yeah,
like that? They just
Starfield. Yeah, that
announced
was
it.
like their first game in like forever that they came like released.
Still working on it. They talked about it at E3,
Oh,
but
here we
as
go.
far as
Yeah.
I heard, they're still working on
Yeah.
it. So I don't know. It's supposed to be like an open world game. Like what was that other one that came out that was in the work for like 20 years? No Man's Land or some shit like that.
No Man's Skies.
No
Yeah.
Man's Skies, and
Yeah.
it turned out to be horrible. So I don't know. I, hope
I don't know. It was
on
pretty.
those.
Like it may have been like not the best, but like you can definitely see where the work went into it, though.
Yeah. Well, I think for that one it was like unlimited planets or something.
Yeah, it was like
it was all
you
open.
can literally go everywhere and anywhere and
Yeah.
How
discover
do you
so
even
many
build
new
something
things.
like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
intense.
That's why it takes so long. And then so going into the next one here, we got 4th, which is Grand Theft Auto, which I know is a huge thing right now.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
I feel like that should be higher though.
Yeah, well, yeah. Even I mean,
Well-
it's still going on. The time that they spent into this thing, and I was watching a thing on it. Like, if you like look into Grand Theft Auto and how much time they put into the details, they were like, if you shoot a tire, it doesn't just immediately deflate. Like, it deflates slowly. If you shoot the water, like the water splashes. Like, if you
Mhm.
hit something, it scratches. Like, it was just the bench. They were shooting the bench, and they shot like one side of the bench, and one of the pieces of wood snapped that they shot. Not like the whole entire side.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you really look into Grand Theft Auto, the time that they put into that. The only reason I bring it up is we were talking about that. But
What's
Gra-
crazy about Grand Theft Auto to me is like open world games can never hold my attention because there's just too much to do, which can be a bad thing. But when I always played Grand Theft Auto younger, I haven't played a recent one in a long time. But one of the ones I used to play, I used to just get on there and I would be so destructive. Like my goal of the game was to get as many stars as possible. I would just punch people until money came out, run them over. Didn't care about doing anything else, about just causing as much destruction as possible and try to get like the 5 stars or 6 stars where they are. That was like my end
My
goal,
two
and I
favorite
never actually
cheats.
played it.
My two favorite cheats were the super jump and the explosive rounds. Oh, and then like you get the loadouts, right? Like you can get like the or the gun, whatever,
yeah.
and just jump on top of a building and literally just blow up
Well,
helicopters,
now they
tanks, and all that
have,
stuff.
now they have RP, so everyone's role playing it. Like I know, the
Yeah.
guy that we all know here is
That
playing it,
is
but he's been
pretty
stuck into
crazy.
That. Yeah, XQC
Yeah.
plays it, and I watch it, and it's
It's
he's a
weird,
main member.
It's literally, yeah, it's literally like another world. kind of. Well, man, what's the movie?
Everyone sticks to their role really good, and it's like if
Yeah.
you don't, you get banned immediately.
Mhm.
It's
That's
like
stupid.
it's almost like that. I mean, it's not stupid. You have 100 people in there, and one person can
Virtual
ruin it.
reality, man.
Yeah.
You can be a different person. You can be whoever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, it's great.
If your job is an accountant, you can be an
They have.
accountant.
There was. I mean, it gets into depth. There was accountants. There was jewelry people. There were people that were
Yeah.
trash can people working at a burger shop.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's. You
They
go
even
in there
have
and they
work
start
release
somebody there.
programs.
Exactly. Yeah, you go to jail. You get they have judges. It's.
I have this guy, not YA, it's like YK or something like that. He does the role playing, and he's a police officer. And then you see like the guy's like, "Yo, man, I didn't do it. Yo, this is like your third offense, bro. We got like 5 warrants for your arrest over here in this side of town. Blah blah blah." And then he's like, "Man, I swear." It's like tries to take off.
They do bank robberies and they get hostages and stuff. It's in depth.
If you get arrested, what are you gonna do? Just gonna sit your character in jail for?
Yeah,
Yo,
you
they
go to
handcuff
jail.
you. They put you
Yeah.
in the car. They drive you to jail. They process you. It's like the whole shebang.
They process
Like it's
you, they ask you if
intense.
you're guilty or not guilty. You go to the
So
get a
what
judge,
if you
and
get
then they
like
have a
20
prison
years?
system.
Yeah,
They
You're
have a
doing
prison
20 years.
system.
You're
Yeah.
coming
They
back
have-
with a beard.
They actually here. This is crazy. They actually have lifers. So they have people in prison that have been there for life, and their whole entire role play is to them be in jail.
Well, that's how you retire your character. Just get yourself arrested.
That is
Nice.
crazy. It's
Like,
so
yeah,
cool. I mean, it's very cool. I'm not gonna lie.
If we had 100 people that could do it, I mean, it'd be great. You just log in and start your thing.
If I did that, I would start a terrorist group and just try to
Of course
recruit
you
as
would.
many people and just try to run through that freaking lobby.
You couldn't start like a charity. You had to start a
No
charity.
terrorist group. I'd cause as much destruction as possible, blow up buildings, whatever
You'd
I
get
could do.
banned. Justin would get banned in about 2 hours.
I did hear they're like. Oops, sorry, Ed. You can go.
He'd be a lifer. Like
I like-
Right.
Yeah.
They caught me.
Yeah.
I did see that they're taking online off the older consoles like 360 and stuff like that. Though.
I mean, it's about, when the new consoles come out, you expect
Mhm.
it. You know, they shouldn't have to go back 3 consoles. But
Sure.
top 3, World of Warcraft. Once again, I understand why it's there. I hear about it.
Mhm.
I've never played it. I don't know if you guys have, but I definitely get.
I
why it's
haven't
top
played
3.
it. I do watch some streamers play it. I'm interested
we
in it
come
just
through
because I play RuneScape some, so that's why I'm
I
into
feel
it.
like we come through you know, we obviously all know each other started from Call of Duty, but I feel like the Call of Duty people, that's why we're not really into like the Final Fantasy and the World of Warcraft. I feel like we're in a certain section of like gaming, and then there's like 3 or 4 other sections. The
Oh,
World
yeah.
of Warcraft, you got the World of Warcraft, you got the Final Fantasy, the Call of
Mhm.
Duty. Like it's just like these big subsections, and I think that's
Hey,
why we all
World of
don't have-
Warcraft gave us one great thing, and that's the Leroy Jenkins. I actually have that as a sound clip on my
Yeah.
stream. Leroy Jenkins. That shit to this day, I don't even understand World of Warcraft, and to this day, that shit still cracks me up. But speaking of movies, they actually made a World of Warcraft movie, and that was my only like real exposure to World of Warcraft. It was actually it was an interesting movie, but with me not really understanding the background, the characters and stuff like that, I couldn't get too into it. But I thought it was a really well shot movie, and I thought it was because there was a lot of CGI. It looked really good.
Yeah, and then top 2 here, Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike, I mean, it's kind of in the lines of like Call of Duty, but I used to go to this place called Gaming Basement, paid $10 an hour and go play video games. It was like LAN parties with like Alienware computers and stuff like that. So I used to actually play it, and I know people still do. I think it's free now.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like what Call of Duty before Call of Duty was. You know, it's like an A and B kind of thing.
I was about to say it's still a very big game. Like a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
still play it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The big thing with those games is like the graphics aren't as bad, so you don't need a super high depth. Like to play Warzone right now, you got to put some money into this thing. Like but these people can put like a basic laptop and play Counter Strike. So I
Mhm.
think that's kind of like the aspect of it that's good is it's a shooter that you don't need a 3090 graphics card and like an i9 or Ryzen 9 PC CPU in order to play it.
Trying to play Call of
At,
Duty
like,
on a
bare
ThinkPad.
minimum frames. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, not a surprise to me, Minecraft.
Yeah. Mhm.
I get it. I've watched people play it. XQC played it. Tfue played it. They do like I used to watch them do the speed runs. Obviously,
Speedruns, that's big.
yeah. But I've also seen people. I think it was Justin that said like oh, I thought it was just building like a house in a community.
Yeah.
But people do
Built.
different things. I mean, they also have the hardcore mode where you die, game's over. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter what you built or how long you spent on the game.
Yeah.
So there's different.
I think the only thing I find fascinating about Minecraft, because I've tried playing it and that stuff's never interested me. But what's most fascinating to me about Minecraft is when people take like worlds and like build them into Minecraft. So like I've seen people recreate like Harry Potter, for example, like that whole castle, or you see people build like whole communities like from movies or games. And I always thought that was really cool that like Minecraft was that customizable that they could do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they built some pretty crazy stuff on that game.
Yeah.
I definitely see the appeal of it, and I actually enjoy watching it. It's not something that
Mhm.
it's not something
Yeah,
that I'm like, oh, why do people watch this?
Kind of just
Fortnite
stimulating in a way.
try to get into it a little bit with their Fortnite creator mode,
Yeah.
where people will
Yeah.
kind of go in and make their own maps or make.
But
their
even
own
that
thing.
stuff can get pretty impressive though. Like people
Yeah.
just dedicate a lot of time to
Death
doing
runs.
that.
Have you guys seen
Yeah.
the death runs?
Uh-huh.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just
But
any
yeah.
game. Like they just create game modes.
I will say, and I mean, this is kind of off script here, and we're kind of at the tail end here, but I do feel like these free to play games, like Warzone and Fortnite right now, that's kind of like that's the standard, and it's been the standard for a while now. So I'm interested to see kind of what takes that next step or how they kind of,
Mm-hmm.
'cause, if we're doing this top 10 thing, top 10 games of the 2000s or 2020s, like it's Warzone and Fortnite right now. Like, there's not
Yeah.
much. I mean, you could throw Madden in there, and I'm sure World of Warcraft and all those little things. But
They get
back
away
in the
with that
day, they
just
had.
because of the battle passes and stuff. They make a ton of money
Yeah.
off of those battle
But
passes.
look at if you look at Warzone right now, like it's going into year 2 of it because it's just they didn't even make a new game. They just said year 2, here's Cold War. Nobody plays Cold War. Let's just
Yeah.
throw a whole new game into the same game.
Straight up.
So it'll be interesting to see. Fortnite's the same game. It just gets new seasons, new
Mhm.
storylines. So it's not even really like new games, just like the evolution of the franchise.
Mhm.
So it'll be kind of interesting to
Yeah,
see.
notice how they haven't really talked about Call of Duty this year, releasing one during the holiday season. I haven't heard anything.
Well, they did announce that they're doing it as a group again. So
Mm.
once again, we don't know. We were all stoked, like, oh, we're gonna get a whole new map and a whole new like this and that. Like they give us a new point of interest, like a new gun.
Yeah.
Which is the frustration with I think
Yeah.
everybody on Warzone. Like nuke the place and give us a whole new map. I don't care if
I mean,
it's bad.
PUBG's got like 5 or 6 maps. It's like, why can't Call of Duty,
Yeah.
Activision, and all them do the
Apex
same
does the
thing?
same thing. Apex does the
Yeah.
same thing.
It
Mhm.
just blows my mind.
Supposedly, the new Warzone map will be coming out with their Call of Duty Vanguard, which is coming out later this year, and it will be a Pacific-based World War II map, bigger than Verdansk, not increasing
Boy.
players, but it's going to be a big map. They're going to have more vehicles. They're going to have tanks.
They need to make
PUBG,
it.
I mean,
They're gonna have to
PUBG
compete with Battlefield. Like no lie, they're gonna have to compete with
Well,
Battlefield.
Mm,
I know everybody's bashing
about map-wise.
Battlefield, yeah, but map wise. But in reality, like everybody's kind of Battlefield, blah blah blah. But that might be the GOAT game this year. Like everybody's gonna migrate from Warzone over to Battlefield just to play it for content reasons.
You know what it is for me too is like they need a bigger map. Like I saw someone play, I watched Dr. Disrespect. He was doing like a triple threat challenge where he had to go play PUBG, and the map is ginormous. So it gives you time to like loot up and then get prepared and make it kind of like stealth attack.
Mhm.
The way the games are playing right now, there's 150 people in Warzone. Just today, I saw someone drop 125 kills as a quad with like Mutex. It was Mutex and somebody else, but Aiden. But that's 20 people that the other people had to kill. Like it's getting to the point where like they're just killing the whole lobby and there's not much else to do. Like if the map was as big as it was in PUBG, there's no way anybody's getting that.
I'll stick in my sweaty lobbies and just deal with it.
I've always liked the idea of like large scale battle between just two sides. It's just really something hard to pull off, and I know that's what Battlefield's doing, but it's just something that's super hard to pull off. Where you have like 50 versus 50. It's so much can go into it.
I mean, they've had that. It just didn't. It doesn't work out.
Exactly.
It doesn't work out because I want the achievement of like I won, not my team. It's just like it's just more accomplished. Like to win a Warzone game is like it's not easy. I think we all can agree it's not easy to be the last team. I mean, but if it's 50 versus 50, you have a 50% chance. Like that's kind of how that.
Like
goes.
Ed and I last night, we got like what two second places, a third place, and stuff like that, and they were like extremely sweaty. We were doing everything great.
Yeah,
but we
I
just
think
couldn't
combined,
clutch
like
it.
if I look at just basically looking at people's stats, 'cause I'm a big stats guy. Like I think as a group, we're like 2 to 3% win rate. Like play 100 games, win 3.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's what keeps us coming back to it. So
Yeah, it's true. The challenge.
yeah, absolutely.
We will
Well,
dominate.
yeah, exactly. So that's the top 10, guys. We're next podcast we're gonna be digging into like we're not gonna have to explain who we are and what we're about, but we'll spend a lot more time on other top 10 things, rankings, and
We can actually
stay
get in
tuned.
depth with E3 a little more, like just
Yeah,
get into the
absolutely.
newer games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Not and if anybody wants has any ideas on what they want us to talk about, we're this isn't just a gaming podcast. We'll talk about anything.
Eventually,
Feel
we'll
free to
open up a mailbag.
yeah, exactly, and then feel free to talk
Yeah,
to
mailbag.
Yeah, feel free to follow us on. We're going to be on YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. Once again, it's Talking Unleashed. You got Jay, Ed Hunter, Undead, and The Prophecy. And we'll be doing this weekly, every Saturday. And I think we'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate the love, guys.
All right.
All right.
Deuces.
See you guys.
Adios.
Trice, real name, no gimmicks. Rap I've been in it ever since I was invented.